Thomas Greenough.
And what is your current role?
I'm Senior Lecturer in Interactive Media Design. I just found it very interesting when Eric brought it to me, and I found it would actually tie really well into one of the briefs, or one of the modules, which is usability in mobile applications, which on the back of that project has now been rewritten, the title of it. It escapes me at the moment, but it's more to do with mobile applications and portable devices. Project manager, I suppose, of the interactive media side, and also mentor. I mean, that's really it. I mean, the students, the brief set by Intel, all we can do is steer them as you would do if you were an art director or a project manager in business, but also then, with the educational hat on, is steer them in the right direction. My understanding of the project was about, initially it was starting off to make data available on the move to people of a certain age, demographic, but since then it developed more into simply being a device with a screen no larger than 7 inches across diagonally, and how that device could then be used using Intel chip technology. And from that, basically, it was an open brief, so the students wrote their ideas, presented them to staff, and we analysed and sort of pointed them in which direction we thought would be the strongest thing, and the piece of work or interface from my side that would sit and work intuitively and hit all the testing that they've been taught in their first year, and then build on personas, scenarios, and then build up the interface from that, and then usability, and the usual 6 process. I mean, formative assessment all the way through within, which was great actually. I'd have to say the formative feedback students got from industry, from yourself, from Neil, a little bit from David, but the formative feedback is absolutely second to none, because that's what they thrive on that. They don't realise they're getting it, but they thrive on it in their reflective piece at the end of the project. And it was assessed on the learning outcomes from the usability mobile applications module for me, because it fitted them all. It hit all the learning outcomes and actually a couple more bit of icing on the cake. So that it was assessed as any other module would be, because it fitted in for us.
Yes.
And that's, by that I mean the interface. But I suppose the first challenge was working with a different discipline in the school. Some very successful groups, some not successful at all. But that's something we'll address. We know that, we can address that again. Challenges, I think writing their own briefs scared a few of them, because they don't quite know what that is, so they need a bit of steer, and it was good to have Intel say X and Y. I mean, it might be worth actually sitting with Intel or with another partner in the future and devising a brief that we all know we can work. Now we've got this Intel, literally intelligence that we've got from previous ones. I think that was the biggest challenge, and getting them working, and time management. Possibly the fact that ours was assessed and DFI's was merely a pass-fail caused a little bit of friction within the student bodies with 2 different cohorts of students. Well, actually, that had more or less the same thing. What went well was the journey for some students, not just the final thing, actually working together, understanding the input from the stuff I've taught my students in the first year, which is the understanding of a specific 6-stage design process, the creation of personas, scenarios, and then testing again, and then on interface design. I already used some heuristic testing. I'm not a big fan of it, but then we had Gilbert Copton, who he was very good with looking at that usability side in a very dry academic sense, but also he knows exactly what it is and the heuristics. Some of the students brought in the stuff from Copenhagen University that we looked at last year, so it's more metaphorical. I think that was really good. That really was successful for me, and I felt good in an academic sense that it was sound pedagogical teaching then had fed into this, and that was good. Well, I don't think anything could have been done better in this room, because it was, we all had to hit the ground running, and I think what can be done better is, as I've just said, I think, is work with the partner closely, to create a solid group, and then work with ourselves. So we know that, for example, with Milot, it's a module, it fits within this. Obviously, there's the constraints of an outside partner, but that's easily dealt with. and basically get the students to understand that this is a real world environment. You know, we don't have, my course doesn't have a sandwich unit. This is the closest they'll get to it. And I think actually some of them have seen that in them, and that needs to be hammered home. I think it works well in second year. Third year just couldn't do it because it's only a 3-year course. DFI's, they've just finished their sandwich, haven't they? Their year out. So they've got a different spin on it. So I think basically just working out the logistics. Because the project itself is great. The feedback, as I say, formative feedback's great. Summative feedback, it may be interesting to have had Nick or one of the partners look at, not perhaps give a mark, but look at the final piece and see, look at how we mark them.